Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It's Tuesday night and time to go to battle with the XCAL Street Stocks tonight, coming to you from the Milwaukee Mile. How's it going, everybody? Good evening to everybody out there watching. Let us know who you're cheering for here tonight in the comments, and we've got a big night ahead here at the Milwaukee Mile. 200 laps and over $275 on the line. Let's get this party started right off the bat by talking to King Matthew the Bear. Matt, how you feeling tonight, buddy?
I'm feeling pretty good, actually, Doug. Done some decent little testing this week. Feel pretty good about the results we got from that. Had a good run last week. We're going to try to keep it up again this week. I think I've been in 8 races so far, had 8 top 5 finishes. So we're going to look to keep that alive here tonight. I mean, if I can keep up with Austin these first 2 segments right here and stay on his bumper and save a little bit of fuel, I think I may have something for him on the back end. But, I mean, we got to get there first to worry about it. Like I said, we got 200 laps, long way to go. But if anybody's going to beat me tonight, they're going to have to work harder than a cucumber in a woman's prison to do it. So,
well, I know you had quite a battle with Octavio last week, and things could get interesting there again at the end tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think there was no intentional intent in that. I knew he was going to come up right there and try to make a little contact and give me a little room to run off as possible. I mean, I did it to him. So, like I said last week, I expected it to come back to me at some point, and it did. And hopefully tonight we can go back clean racing, and who knows, we might end up on the other side of it tonight. So we just got to wait and see.
Well, good luck tonight, Matt.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
King Matthew the Bear coming into tonight. Jared Mogard has a string of wins in the Monday Night Dash Series, and Jared sounds like, or a string of good finishes here lately. Sounds like your dash finishes are on fire. Can that translate to tonight?
Yeah, we've had really good Mondays here, especially the last 3 weeks. We've won the last 3 cash dashes and 4 out of the last 5, so been on a roll on a Monday. Feel really good on Mondays. It just haven't been able to translate it on Tuesday. We have speed every week. It's just these races come down to fuel mileage and long runs and stuff like that. And just still trying to learn a little bit on how to be competitive. Putting the whole race together that way. So. I think I got a good plan for tonight. Gonna try something a little bit different. Last week we had a really good run, led a lot of laps, ran up front a lot, but the strategy there at the end with pit cycles and everything, it didn't work out. We went from what should have been a top 5 finish to 9th. So I'm gonna change it up a little bit this week and try to have a little bit opposite results. Hopefully top 5, top 3 would be great. If we can contend for the win, mix it up maybe with Matt, and the 48 would be a great accomplishment, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, man, you've been on fire since joining XCAL. Good luck tonight, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Shout out to all the fans. Hopefully these guys enjoy it, and thank you for doing the broadcast as well. So hopefully it's a good show.
Jared Mogard ready to go since joining J&S Racing, has been on fire. Another driver on fire this season. Octavio Rondoletto with the win last week. And Octavio, you've been marching up only a few dollars behind King Matthew the Bear in the most valuable driver. Man, you've been tearing it up this season.
Hey Doug, hi everybody. Yes, we're having a strong season, and I think without a disconnection at Auto Club, I'm sure we could be in the top. But finally, we're fighting again. We're fighting in the championship, in the owner championship too, and yes, we're trying to give it to keep that first position that we want.
You're definitely on the right track to do it, and you've had quite a season as well, man. A great win last week, and I'm sure many more to come.
Thank you, Doug, and yes, we will do everything today. It's a long race, and we're fighting for everything.
Well, good luck tonight, Octavio.
Thank you.
Octavio Rondoletto coming off that big win last week at Iowa. And Jason Seams and the Bustin' at the Seams team, man, the technical difficulties have turned around, and suddenly, J-Dog, you're marching. Your whole team is marching up.
Yeah, it's it's tough coming into this for the first year, and little by little we've been making progress. The 81 with Matt, been doing really good. Looking to do a bit better. I'll have some good luck coming my way shortly.
And how is that?
Just gotta have some good luck here. I'm gonna get a good finish here and see what happens.
Well, hopefully so. You guys have been fast week in and week out, so it's definitely been just the first part of the season was just technical issues, really, but tonight could be a big turnaround night. You got the team already has wins and up there battling for the titles as well.
Yes, it's definitely fun to watch the guys battle at it, especially between me and Edgar, which I just want to add. I don't have to run that hood this week. He's got it. So.
Well, that is always a plus, ain't it?
It sure is. It sure is. And we got tons of new stuff in the web shop. We've got all kinds of shirts, the whole flag series. Even Jeff over there, he's got the logo that I have to run in a nice blankie.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Well, we'll definitely have to check out the XCAL web shop. Man, good luck tonight. Hopefully everything keeps falling y'all's way. You continue to make your march up.
Yes, we really appreciate it, and be looking for some speed tonight. And I just want to thank XCAL Web Shop Racing Series, you and How to Suck at iRacing, Flaming Karma Paint Shop for the great schemes, Admin Box, Butt Kicker, JT's Mobile Pressure Washing, Sim Racer Hub, Tri Cooler, and I'd like to thank Austin Edwards for helping us with the setups.
Great job, buddy. Good luck tonight.
All right. We appreciate it. Thank you.
And finally, another member of the Seams clan. I think they're still coming out of the woodwork. We could have 800 more join. Flying Ryan, and it's weird, Ryan, you haven't had a win yet this season.
I haven't, but I mean, I've had some really good cars, and last week, I mean, if I didn't have to save so much fuel, I probably could have been battling for a win, but who knows, just been putting the hammer down and trying to get good finishes.
Well, you've definitely been doing that. The whole J&S team has been just on top since the start of this season, and you guys have done a great job, and working with the Bustin' at the Seams team seems to really be helping as well.
Oh, it is. It is for sure having that team help, because, just one of those things.
It definitely has been, man. A great season so far. Good luck tonight, Flying Ryan.
Thank you, Doug.
I know you've got a big fan club out there.
Ooh, thank you, fan club.
Good luck, Flying Ryan.
Oh.
Flying Ryan getting ready to go hop back in the car. Quick good evenings here. Good evening, JR. Good evening, Mitch Maynard, Kevin Reed, and Flaming Karma Eye Entertainment. Tonya Gleason is here. Hey, good evening, Martin. Steven Seams and Richie Joplin. Good evening to everybody. Just a few seconds left to go and practice. Then we are going racing here at the Milwaukee Mile.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from the Milwaukee Mile. The GOAT, Austin Edwards and Lataro Lamperti have the front row. Brent Mekas, Octavio Rondoletto on the second row. Matt Bear and Johnny Evans on the third row. Jared Mogard, Flying Ryan on the fourth row. Steven Rex and Alex Crapser round out your top 10. Jimmy Johnson starting in 11th next to J-Dog Seams in 12th. Jeff Edgar carrying that special logo here tonight in 13th. Sean Andrews in 14th. Frank Klein starting in 15th next to Joe Campbell in 16th. Sean Patrick, Ken Ziem 17th and 18th. Cristiano Roca, Jose Godino 19th and 20th. Jared Easley back in the car tonight in 21st. Michael DiCarlo starts in 22nd. Steven Seams in 23rd. Clayton Wise starting in 24th. Albie Hewins in 25th. J.R. Tanksley out back in 26th. With Brandon Yates rounding out the 27-car field here at the Milwaukee Mile. Hey, good evening, Danny. And Danny, we've talked about this. You're not supposed to be at work during XCAL. Austin Edwards, the GOAT, back out on track looking for career win number 30. Here tonight, he'll start on the pole. Mark the Man Dantuma cheering on Flaming Karma Racing here tonight. Pace truck hits pit road. Aaron up in the flag stand. Gets ready to go. Green in the air there. Down and away at the Milwaukee Mile. Interesting note about tonight is one of the worst street stock wrecks the admin team had ever seen last night. During the heats, as Joe Campbell hit the inside wall, there's a little bar sticking out going down into turn one. He just got it, got bumped into it. Hard hit. He'll be looking to make up some ground because that set him back for the start. Michael DiCarlo, one of the new drivers, one of the new cars this season. That's Navy Joe Coffee car, starting to make his way forward in the races here lately. We'll see how far he can get tonight. Right now, Austin Edwards, Lataro, King Matthew, the Bear, Brent Mekas, and Octavio Rondoletto, the top five. Rondoletto already on the move. Danny cheering on J&S Racing as always. Lataro trying to run down Austin Edwards, the top two, trying to put a little bit of a breakaway. As we've got one car making a move on the high side. The drivers that can pass outside here tonight may have a bit of an advantage. Flat track racing definitely hard on the tires. Hey, good evening, Earl. Earl Seams, as always, cheering on all the busting at the seams and Flying Ryan. Frank Klein, we saw him attacking a lot last week at Iowa, already up 4 spots into 11th. Ken Ziems also on the attack. He is up 6 spots into 12th. Steven Seams had a problem in the early going and has dropped to the tail end of the field back in 27th. I suspect will not be there very long. Fuel strategy, tire strategy is all going to come into play here tonight. Most of the field looking at about 50 to 55 laps on a tank of fuel. Those right side tires, man, they will be worn out by the time they hit that end of the fuel run. Johnny Evans starting to make some moves in the 33, now up into the top 5. Mogard now up into 6th. Mogard having a lot of luck here in the Monday Night Dash series here lately. You guys, if you're on iRacing, make sure you go check that out. You can get free entry into that race. And if you're not on iRacing and you're interested in getting on iRacing, make sure you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. We are giving away 5 new iRacing memberships this year as part of our MS Society fundraiser. Trying to reach a really big goal for the MS Society this year. And we're going to give away iRacing memberships, credits, and a lot more. Frank Klein now looking underneath Jimmy Johnson, moving into the top 10, opening the door for Ken Zeems. Jim trying to make that outside line, carry the momentum off, and maintain position. Austin Edwards using every bit of the track on corner exit here. Ken Zeems now up into 11th, up 7 spots. So far, the biggest mover of the night. Joe Campbell, who had problems in the qualifying heats, right now riding in 16th. That team has not been showing early run speed all season long, but they have made the attacks on the late runs. Keep an eye on all those J&S cars later in the fuel run. King Matthew the Bear now looks under Lataro, trying to take second, pushes up. Close call there coming out of turn 2. The King now to second, Lataro in third, Octavio now to fourth. Austin Edwards, for the moment at least, out for a nice Tuesday evening cruise. Flying Ryan and Jared Mogard, the 2 J&S cars, 6th and 7th at the moment. Both up 1 spot, trying to make their way forward. Passing here is going to get tricky, as most of the field currently single file. A lot of battling going on back in the back, though, as Jeff Edgar now looking underneath Joe Campbell for 16th. He gets clear, but Joe may get the run back underneath out of turn 2. Joe's going to keep set to the inside, see if he can dive it into 3. He can, gets back underneath Jeff Edgar. Cristiano Roca lurking right behind, waiting for an opportunity here as well. Sean Patrick, Jose Godino, and Jared Heasley also lurking. Quiet start to this race, but they know after last week they have to keep these cars clean for a long period of time here. A lot of bumping last week in the early going, despite the fact they did manage to keep it green for most of the night. But it does look like after last week's race and after the heats last night, does look like the drivers are showing a bit more patience out here. And flat track racing is a whole different beast than being out on a bank track. Only 9¼ degrees of banking in the turns here at Milwaukee. Frank Klein continuing his march up, now starting to look underneath Flying Ryan. Klein now up into 8th. Ken Zeems now up into 10th. As Ryan gets an opening underneath Johnny Evans. Evans pushes out of turn 2, and he's going to lose a lot of ground. Evans lost a ton of momentum through 1 and 2. In fact, looks like Brent Meckes is going to get under as well. Putting Jared Mogard now into the top 5, Flying Ryan in 6th, and Frank Klein now up into 7th. Hey, good evening, Cindy, cheering on Sean Andrews. Sean looking for a little bit more luck here tonight. A guy who is at fast race cars week in and week out, but a lot of catastrophe this season, hoping tonight will be the night he returns to victory lane. Johnny Evans has now dropped back into 9th. Ken Zeems closing in 10th. Stephen Rex in 11th. Jimmy Johnson dropped back to 12th in the early going. Alex Krapser in 13th. Sean Andrews in 14th. Jason Seams currently sitting in 15th. Then a bit of a gap back to 16th place. Joe Campbell. About 2.1 seconds separates the lead pack and that second pack. Cristiano Roca, Jeff Edgar right there with him, as well as Sean Patrick, Jose Godino, Jared Heasley just a hair behind, J.R. Tanksley back there, Clayton Wise, Albie Hewins, Michael DiCarlo, Brandon Yates, and Steven Seams round out the 27-car field. Now, we mentioned most of these drivers can go at least 50 laps on a tank of fuel. Rumor has it there's 1 or 2 that may not be able to go that full 50. At 50 laps, if the race were to stay green, they can do it on 3 pit stops. However, anything less than 50, they are making an extra pit stop, and that could be a problem at the end of the night. Bonnie Billings cheering on the Seams clan as well. Speaking of Seams, Flying Ryan on the outside losing some ground. Johnny Evans comes back, takes 7th. Flying Ryan now back to 8th. Frank Klein has managed to get by up to 6th now. Ken Zeems not far behind, back in the mix with the lead pack, right behind Brent Meckes. I have a sneaking suspicion before this night is out, we will see the bumper being used to make some moves here. It is very, very difficult to set the car up and to make it able to pass on the high side. We saw a few drivers doing it in the early going. We know it can be done, but it is so hard and takes a lot longer So if the guy in front of you is just going a little too slow, you might end up using the chrome horn. Defending champ King Matthew the Bear currently in second, Lataro in third, Octavio in fourth, but Austin Edwards has led every lap so far. And a pretty safe bet that Austin is not going 100% right now. Ken Zeems continuing his march to the front, now up to 9th after starting in 18th. Frank Klein still the biggest mover, up 10 spots into 5th. Clayton Wise, Albie Hewins, J.R. Tanksley all up 2 spots. Michael DiCarlo at the back of that pack in 25th, losing a couple spots here early, but still with that pack. Brandon Yates and Steven Seams out back by themselves for the moment. Matt Bear appears to be starting to build a little momentum. He was looking low out of turn 4. The question now becomes, how hard does Austin fight to hold on to the lead? And that lead pack is continuing to grow. Now Sean Andrews and Jason Seams at the back of it in 13th and 14th. Stephen Rex in 15th closing in. Jeff Edgar back in 16th with that little group is also starting to close back up on the leaders. If we start seeing some battling up here at the front, very, very likely we will see this lead pack continue to get bigger. Sean Patrick hanging out right behind Joe Campbell. Had a little bit of a blink a moment ago. Appears to be okay. And it looks like we are bringing the party to you, folks, because Gerald Thanos Poole joining us in the booth tonight. Gerald, how's your team feeling coming into this one? Gerald, can't hear you.
Oops, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I have a very poor opinion of this track, so I'm relying on all of our teammates to determine how good or bad we are. So I'm just kind of watching like everybody else right now.
Looks like there was some chaos back behind a moment ago. Jared Heasley, one of your drivers, let's take a quick look and see what just happened. Heasley coming through. Oh, he was just loose in 3. Clips the inside wall. Gets it down into the grass. Everybody gets by. Looks like these cars are starting to get a little bit loose here on the long run.
Yeah, I mean, there's some problem. I mean, coming out of 4 is such a hard deal here because it seems like the track changes elevations a couple of times, and if you're running a little bit too low and get on the throttle a little too hard, it's easy to spin yourself to the inside.
It looks like that may have been what happened. So as the tire wear gets down, the grip coming out of 4 is definitely going to begin to have a problem. Plus, you see the inside line there in 3 and 4 is patched up, and we saw that group from about 10th on back that was nose to tail actually got split up there briefly. It looked like it's getting a little bit chaotic in these groups coming out of 4.
Yeah, I mean, even within the team, there was such a variation of as far as some of the setups went and the gearing went that I think the big goal was just to try to give your right front and right rear tire wear as even as possible.
That could very well. Right side wear here is a huge factor in balancing front to back. As Frank Klein just moved up into 3rd, that front to back balance could be key. Especially late in the run, if that back tire gets too much wear, your back end's going to start stepping out, and that right front gets too much wear, you're just going to head for the wall.
Yeah, and that was probably the biggest thing we were fighting. I mean, we kind of started all over again on setup, and even with the last setup we used last year, I mean, the right front tire wear is really the big key, and I think that kind of goes back to the gear. I think the guys with a little bit longer gear probably going to save a little bit better on the right front, but I even kind of noticed it yesterday as far as the heat races went, there was kind of a big disparity from the beginning of the heat to the end of the heat of the drop off on the cars. I think was really just due to right front wear.
Probably is. Flat tracking is never easy, and this one in particular, it is bumpy, inconsistent, and just it's not your best friend. As Earl Seam said a moment ago, right sides are not loving life right now. This track is extraordinarily difficult, even for a flat track.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty decent to, places like Martinsville and people try to translate it to here. And I mean, to me, there's just no translation to any real track. It's kind of like Pocono. It's like having 2 bigger turn 3s that are a little bit more flat. Yeah, it's just hard to get a hold of.
It definitely is. Not one of my favorite tracks to run at either. I've always had problems at this track, so I'm glad I'm in the booth, not in the car tonight.
Yeah, I ran some test laps with Albie and JR, and just watched the heat races, and I actually ran the free dash race just to kind of remember the feel for it. Yeah, there's just some really uncomfortable spots on this track depending on how you're set up.
Well, and that not only that, but here in about 10 laps, we're going to see drivers start to head to pit road. And that's when things will really heat up, is that pit road entry is so tricky. You come off 4, you've got to yank it hard down, and then it is a hard left just behind the wall. I mean, it is not an easy pit road to get on here.
Oh no, and the cone placement on the inside wall, anytime that I've ever actually done decently here, it's that cone placement, because you take that hard left and then you take that hard right to be aimed down pit road, and next thing you know, you're standing on top of the cones.
I think anybody who's raced here has been introduced to those cones for sure. We will have pit stops here in just a few laps, so folks, we'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, the first round of green flag pit stops. Don't go anywhere. We'll go side by side. You won't miss a thing. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Before pit stops get underway, everybody going around. We are just a few laps shy of seeing pit stops. Don't forget to come back next Tuesday night. Same XCAL time, same XCAL channel. We will be at Bristol, baby. And Gerald, you have quite a history. I think Bristol owes you one or two.
Oh, yeah, and I love that place. I never talk dirty about her, but yeah, we've had some really good races there in Bristol. Hopefully we can get back in line to what we last season kind of really suffered a lot at Bristol for whatever reason, just kind of lost the track. But yeah, I think definitely looking forward to that.
Your first, I believe it was your first Bristol XCAL race. You were looking at a top 5 finish until about 20 laps to go. When coming out of a turn, you got caught up in a big mess, and that was just heartbreaking. But I think that may have been what got you hooked in XCAL.
Well, yeah, it had something to do with it, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it kind of gets under your skin, and it's like, I can do this. And actually had some, during my JNS time with JNS, just had some really awesome races there.
Definitely have, and I think your team will probably be up there. JNS, always tough to beat at Bristol. I mean, the team competition this season is off the charts compared to previous seasons. We've seen a lot closer team battle. We've seen all the teams really, really close in speed, fuel mileage, and everything. It's a whole new animal this year.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. And like I said, we've grown a lot. I mean, last year it was kind of whatever wrench we had, we threw at it. And this year we came in a little bit more, a lot more strong, a lot more experienced, and got a solid team together. And it's tough week in, week out. It's tough to do what you need to do to be able to keep that fight up.
Definitely is, and it's as we get down, we're about to hit the 50 lap mark. Steven Seams, Michael DiCarlo. Now Frank Klein is on his way in. You see back behind, as drivers start to head into pit road, you see that pit road entry there. We'll get a look at it as other drivers come in. It is really difficult here. And I know some drivers were looking up to 55 laps on a tank. That might be a huge advantage. Would not be the first time we have seen an incident going into pit road taking out fast cars.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, not only do you have to, get in that hole into the wall to get into pit road, the other thing you run into is if you get 2 or 3 cars bunched up pretty close and you're all trying to get in there at the same time, it can be a real problem.
Yep, Flying Ryan, Alex Krapser, Sean Patrick just came in. Jason Seams, Sean Andrews, Frank Klein, Clayton Wise came in the lap before. Starting to see everybody trickle in here in groups of 3 and 4 tonight. You mentioned the gear changes and the gear ratio for tonight. I think we're seeing as Ken Zeems is around in 3 and 4, there will not be a caution.
Yeah, he looks like he was down inside out of the racing line. So, yeah, we don't want a caution right now. Gee whiz. A little excitement's fun, though.
Yeah, it is. Looking at Ken Zeems through 3 and 4, it looks like he was trying to get her pulled low. Just gets that rumble strip down to the inside. Ends up stopped partially in the grass. Whoa, close call for Joe Campbell and for Jared Heasley, but both make it by. And Zeems slips her into pit road.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of that coming out of that turn 4. There's a low line there that's just really dangerous. I mean, your car is just going to get loose no matter what your setup is.
Yeah, Joe Campbell makes it in, and it looked like Joe was actually planning on coming in on the last lap, had to make a last-minute change. Fortunately, he had enough fuel to make it back around one more time. I doubt it'd be a huge change to his fuel strategy, but you never know as Johnny Evans begins to make his way in. Jared Mogard also on his way in. Albie Hewins, J.R. Tanksley also on pit road.
yeah, I think once again we're running into one of them situations where you got a pretty big disparity in where the fuel stops are falling. I mean, we had guys, 48, 49, and now we're getting up to 54, 55, and still got guys out there.
Yeah, no surprise to see Austin Edwards, Matt Bear, Octavio Rondoletto, and Lataro all out there. Stephen Rex and Jeff Edgar both still out as well. Those two drivers have really stepped up their fuel mileage game here recently. Edgar heading in now. Stephen Rex stays out, but Austin Edwards, Matt Bear, Octavio, Lataro, no surprise to see those four drivers outstretching the fuel.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this thing comes around and when these guys do have to pit.
Not just looking as it looks like Lataro's headed in. Just looking at some numbers, we're already seeing Alex Crapser just set the fastest lap of the race so far on his tires. Fresh tires having just come off of pit road. It does take a lap or so to get those tires up to temp. And then you've got all the grip, and then you can get those really fast laps. But when you got guys like Austin and Matt out front, they're not losing. They're only losing about a half second a lap right now, so the fresh tires aren't even making that big of a difference.
Well, I mean, a half second a lap's quite a bit, especially, you get out there, 4 or 5 laps. That adds up pretty quick and can leave you some space to have to make up when you get back out.
Well, only driver now still out is Austin Edwards, Matt Bear, Stephen Rex come in. Octavio Rondoletto stays out, does pick up bonus points for leading a lap, and I have to say that is something we have seen out of all the big teams this season, is a lot of consistent teamwork trying to make sure every one of their teammates gets, if they're in the position to, can get a lap led every race to get some bonus points.
Oh, no doubt. Those things really add up. They really do. And like I said, with the way the points and the MVD is going right now, it's going to be interesting to see what some of these guys are able to do.
It is very close in the web shop team points right now. Taking a look at those, Fastlane just 10 points ahead of JNS, just 40 points ahead of Flaming Karma, and just 110 points behind is Busting at the Seams. I mean, man, every point is going to count here for the whole season.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, yeah, the way the formula works, I mean, it's really important to, be able to, foster great drivers and then be able to, get the type of individual performances that help win that team championship. And then you see these other teams starting to develop, like Jason, obviously Frank and his team, and then we got Albie, just now being able to get everything together, be able to come out and have a consistent team out running each week. So, I mean, I think it's going to get a lot more exciting before the season ends.
Definitely is. And Alex Crapser just went to the lead for the first time here tonight. Frank Klein now in second as Octavio rolls off in third, and it's about to get a little spicy for Octavio. Matt Bear and Austin Edwards and Johnny Evans also right back there. Looks like we're about to see this field tighten back up a little bit in the top 10. Could see some of these drivers from further back, though, start making their way through.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing about being a little bit short on fuel, especially what we were seeing here, what was like 5 laps difference. I mean, you got somebody able to come out and make up a couple, 3 seconds just by pitting a little bit early. If you can make the 50 laps, it'll be interesting to see how that works out at the end, because you got to figure these guys that are making 5 laps more than 50 are going to have 15 more laps of fuel for that last stop.
Could definitely be the case. Hey, good evening, Aaron Brill. How are you doing, buddy? Matt Bear now in 4th. Sean Andrews back in the top 5 here tonight. Sean, man, it's been a heartbreaker for Sean all season long. He's had some of the fastest cars out there, charged through the field so many times, only to either have a technical issue or get caught up in lap traffic messes, something along those lines. He definitely has not finished where he has raced this season.
Oh no, he's really been really been fast this season. And yeah, it just seems like week in, week out, he just gets caught by some silly thing or internet problem, and yeah, kills what should have been a really great finish.
Well, he's currently sitting in 6th, just behind Austin Edwards. Hopefully everything falls in his favor finally tonight, and he'll get that top 5, maybe even back to victory lane. Alex Krapser out front is pulling away from Frank Klein, now 3.6 seconds out. But Octavio, Matt, Austin, Sean, all right there with Johnny Evans, Lataro, Flying Ryan not far behind in 9th, and Brent Meckes in 10th. I mean, this Krapser's going to get away a little bit, but not a whole lot. And I don't think Frank is the holdup. I think these guys just need the time to build the momentum and let Krapser's tires wear down a little.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious because, boy, that was either one heck of a pit stop by Alex, or he may have taken a bit less fuel to get himself out front in that clean air.
It looks like his actual pit stop time was about a second faster than everybody else's, but his pit road time from pit road entry to pit road exit was about 2 to 2.5 seconds faster than everybody else. He went right to the limit, getting in and off pit road, was probably hovering right on that speed limit all the way down.
Oh, yeah, I may have to go back and look at that and send a message to everybody.
That definitely could help your team out, watching how closely that driver got down pit road, how hard he pushed it. But Frank Klein and the rest of the crew, they are still going to be coming here in a moment. Krapser was one of the first to pit, as was Frank Klein. Everybody behind him stretched it. So things are about to heat up as they start making their way forward.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, I can see Alex being smart enough that he's not going to try to lap the field, so to speak. And so, yeah, I can see things kind of compressing back up before we get to this second round of stops.
Have to say, too, they're starting to trickle into some lap traffic as Albie Hewins in 21st, just ahead. Cristiano Roca about a half lap ahead at the moment. But they are starting to get into that lap traffic, and that will come into play as well.
Yeah, they've already ran across a couple of them. I mean, just because of some of the earlier slip-ups, and I mean, so far it's been pretty clean. But yeah, we start getting down to people trying to take advantage of the lap traffic to be able to pass each other. Yeah, you can easily run into some problems there.
Cindy Andrews cheering on Sean Andrews tonight. Johnny Evans having another great run, currently in 7th. Lataro lost some ground on pit road, back to 8th. Brent Meckes in 9th, Flying Ryan in 10th, looking through. And Albie Hewins is actually up 4 spots into 21st, but just lost the lead lap. J.R. Tanksley up 4 spots into 22nd. Michael DiCarlo sits in 23rd, but we saw DiCarlo a couple of weeks ago just keep the car out of trouble, and it paid off with his first top 10.
Oh yeah, I tell you what, he's another guy that as he gets more experience as this season goes on, I expect to see a guy that can consistently get up into the top 15, top 10. Obviously, I work with Michael and the Navy Joe Coffee guys, and yeah, some great guys, and definitely their hearts in it, and they're definitely working their butts off to get there.
They definitely are. And taking a quick look, we've talked a lot about how this track is. Let's dial up the nose cam on the leader's car. Alex Krapser down the front straightaway and across the start-finish line down towards turn 1. And you see how much the car is kind of rocking around. But you also see that little yellow line there, and you'll see it more prominently in 3 and 4, it really isn't a perfect radius at all, and can really mess the driver up. You kind of have to drive 3 and 4. You see how much it shakes. You have to drive 3 and 4 more by feel than you can by picking a line and going at it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, really does irritate me a lot. That's killed me a couple of times at this place. One thing I have learned is that if and you train yourself, to look inside to follow that apex, and when that straight line comes up, it can really throw you off. And one of the big things you have to learn here is try to use that asphalt line just outside that one lane up. But the problem is you kind of have to look to the outside if you want to roll inside. So it's it can, and I think that's what really gets a lot of guys on that coming out of 4, because I think that it catches you're a little too far inside. You find those loose spots in there with that elevation change with the blacktop, and it can cost you big time if you're not paying attention.
Definitely could, and could send the car around, as we've seen already a couple of times tonight. Plus, you got those rumble strips. They are not the worst rumble strips out there, but they are there, and that little rumble strip can really upset a car, especially as the tires get old and you're trying to utilize every inch of the track to keep as much speed as you can. That little bit of rumble strip can really upset you, as Alex Krapser is now pulled out to a 4.3 second lead over Frank Klein.
I may have misspoke earlier. Maybe he does want to drive around the field. But yeah, that rumble strip, one thing that also pops up here is that if your car starts getting tight, especially down low, you can actually use that rumble strip to loosen the car up. But once again, with those, with that uneven radius, that can really catch you.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to do that in 1 and 2 than it is in 3 and 4 for sure at this track. It's almost like they just they got the front straightaway, turns 1, 2, the back straightaway, they got to turn 3, and the guys got tired, and they just decided, we're going to just do it and call it good, and we're done.
Probably a 6-beer lunch or something.
Probably. Matt Bear currently sitting at 4th, right behind Octavio, keeping an eye on him, as Earl Seams mentioned he thought he saw him get loose, and we are about far enough into the run where we started seeing drivers get a little bit loose as that tire wear starts to play a factor here, especially as they're coming through lap traffic. Everybody's kind of starting to tighten up out here, and if that balance, front to back balance, is wrong, you're going to have problems, as we just saw somebody, I think Johnny Evans, may have kissed the wall, and we've actually seen quite a bit of kissing the wall out of turn 2 tonight.
Yeah, it's, there is a fast line that is up a little bit higher, but boy, I'll tell you what, exiting the turns, if you don't have the angle right, that outside wall can come out and bite you.
It definitely can. That is definitely a flat track issue, but in a place like this, where the track is just not smooth, even, or anything, it's an even bigger concern getting that wall. And yeah, if it gets you, I haven't driven this, but some of the safer barriers will actually just kind of grab on and hold you. Haven't seen that happen here yet tonight, but it's always lurking.
Oh, yeah. I will be right back.
Alrighty. Alex Krapser continues to lead and run down lap traffic. Cristiano Roca just ahead in 20th. Jose Godino in 19th. Sean Patrick in 18th. Ken Zeems, who we saw really marching earlier on until he had that incident, headed toward pit road. He is now back to 17th. He definitely has some speed. Joe Campbell just ahead of him. Joe currently in 16th. Jeff Edgar has dropped back to 15th. Stephen Rex now back in 14th. Jared Mogard currently in 13th. Jimmy Johnson in 12th. Jason Seams in 11th. And Flying Ryan in 10th. But Alex Krapser just kind of out here running away with it at the moment. His lead now 4.8 seconds over Frank Klein. Frank in lap traffic right behind Albie Hewins into 1. Looked like Frank was getting every bit of the draft he could on the front straightaway.
Oh yeah, surprisingly there is some draft here.
Usually tends to play a bigger factor too in a plate race, or I'm sorry, in a flat track like this. positioning the car to where you have as much air as possible on the nose through the turn, and somebody to draft off of out of the turn. That seems to be where you can make up the most ground, just paying attention to where the air is.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, one of the things here is, I mean, you got these big, wide, sweeping turns, and there's actually a lot of straight stretch here for a 1 mile track with the turns as large as they are. So, yeah, you can really pick up some time if you were able to, live off that back spoiler of the car in front of you.
Definitely can help here. And before we hit that second round of pit stops, we'll take our second quick commercial break. Folks, don't go anywhere. When we come back, round 2 of the pit stops. And if it's anything like round 1 of pit stops, things are going to get spicy. Stay with us. And we are back, and Gerald just saying we are starting to see, and we may see it out on the track as well, as tire wear, yep, starting to see some black patches on the outside of the track, and that some of that will come down to the inside where they're not running at. Could be a problem when they start coming back to pit road here in a minute, if there's any of it built up in there out of turn 4, but starting to see some right front tire wear, some drivers starting to push, and things, once more and more of that rubber gets laid down, it's going to affect the handling more and more.
Oh, no doubt. And I think the way we're seeing the big single line, I think the problem is when you get down late, if those crumbles start accumulating, you know, just outside of, it's going to be hard to get outside and pass somebody.
See if we can hop in the car with Alex Crapser at the moment, and you see some of that on the back straightaway as he's coming down, but you see a lot more of that black debris up on the outside, and that is the chunks of tire coming out. And yes, folks, iRacing has completely modeled that. They've actually had that kind of modeling in place for a very long time. So if you get up too high, you get a tire into that loose stuff, yes, it will send you for a ride you do not want to take.
Yeah, and it seems like it's really accumulating after you cross over from 1 into 2, coming out of 2 and also on 4. So, yeah, it could really affect the racing line late.
Not only that, so yeah, seeing the accumulation in 4, but I'm looking really close, not seeing, you get accumulation, the higher the banking, you get more of that accumulation down low. We'll see a lot of that next week at Bristol, but we might see some of it as drivers start to come in and it gets flung down on pit road entry. Could see it be a small problem there as well. The cars coming in and out should, for the most part, keep that line clear, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we start getting down tight, and the strategy starts to build, and when you get towards that last pit stop, you're going to see some guys. It'd be nice to see some guys running out a little bit higher and just kind of clear it out. But, if they keep racing the way they are, like I said, I think we're really coming down late. You may see some racing out there that'll be a little bit shaky.
Definitely so. Well, taking a look down from the How to Suck at iRacing blimp as we go through the field here, looking at the drivers tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, the Nowski Nation regular season finale at the New Atlanta, and rumor has it there will be a unicorn racing in that one. So you guys definitely, if you've been watching her trucking, you got to come see how she does in the race car. Thursday night, Home Motorsports is back. The beginning of the second part of their season. 4 drivers have locked into their championship playoffs. Gerald, I believe, was number 4 that got locked in last Thursday. Friday night, we will have the Friday Fun League, so we'll have some fun racing out there. Sunday night, I do believe we're going to have our recruitment races. We're still discussing that. We'll have a lot of announcements for recruitment races, upcoming events. Sunday morning, we have GT3 NSS. So Monday night, Jones BS Racing. So a lot of great stuff and a lot of special event stuff coming soon.
Oh, yeah. Been really, really excited about the Home Motorsports deal. And you were talking about Atlanta early. I'm a fan of that place. I've got a couple of wins there in some league races, and so that'll be exciting to watch.
Yeah, it definitely is. I know Angie's planning on, she's pretty much set her whole day aside tomorrow. We'll be doing some practice together. She'll be practicing with the AI and a few other things just to get ready for it. I know she's done quite a bit of racing, but you start trying to race in those little Legends cars, they're a little bit tricky, and it frustrates her. She gets into these bigger cars, she does really well. So I'm excited, but it is really hard to broadcast your girlfriend, because anytime somebody bumps into him, you really just want to start yelling.
Yeah, I haven't shared the broadcast booth with you, and thank you. Watching my team out there racing, there have been a couple of times I wanted to push the button and probably say something that's not so safe for the younger viewers.
Yep, that does. I can completely understand that. Sean Andrews continues to hold on in 7th place. Crapser's lead continuing to grow. It is now 6.3 seconds, but you got to give it to Frank Klein in 2nd place. He is held off Octavio Rondoletto, Matt Bear, Austin Edwards, Johnny Evans, Sean Andrews, Lataro, Brent Metcalf, and Jimmy Johnson, all right there behind him. Frank Klein is at times pulling away from this little train behind him.
Yeah, I think strategy's starting to play in. Frank had some fuel mile issues on that green flag race we had, and I think some of these other guys were a little short of 50 laps on their first pit stop. So, I'm not sure what Alex has got in the tank, but he's starting to get away from everybody.
He definitely is. And folks, don't forget to come back next Tuesday night. We go to Bristol. So from flat track to high speed, high bank, high impact, high everything. It's just going to be nuts. You guys are definitely going to want to be here for that. XCAL, don't forget to check out the XCAL Racing web shop, xcalracing.com/shop. Don't forget to check out the new Bustin' at the Seams hat, some new Bustin' at the Seams gear, some new J&S gear coming, some new Flaming Karma, just all new stuff coming very, very soon. Tonight's event brought to you in part by Tri-E Inc. and the Cooler Crew, and race control equipment provided by Admin Box. Use promo code XCAL-BOX to save 10% on all orders at www.adminbox.com. You know, I do not admin very much, but I bet one of those would come in handy, and I never have enough buttons.
I tell you what, I love mine. I got it mounted right in front of my shifter. I'm a admin at with BRR, and boy, I tell you what, it is the handiest thing.
I can imagine it is. Jeremy Edwards, good evening, buddy. Yes, she is planning, the Unicorn is planning on running with Nowski tomorrow night, so things ought to be interesting. As Sean Andrews is the first one in. That is a bit of a surprise to see him in a little early. That's got to be a strategy move right there. He was one of the guys that went a little bit, no, that's about right on where he was, actually.
Yeah, Frank, I saw Frank pitted in at a lap earlier than that. So, yeah, I mean, there's some fuel stuff going on here. It kind of surprises me. It's not just one team that's having the issue. It looks like there's a couple of guys out there who may have geared themselves a little bit off from the cycle they need.
Yeah, Crapser just came in. Flying Ryan is in. Sean Andrews, Michael DiCarlo, Frank Klein, and Steven Seams all on pit road. And it does look... Frank Klein's pit stop was quite a bit longer this time. We'll keep an eye on pit stop times. We've seen this strategy play out in the past where drivers do one really, really long run, use up every drop of fuel, and then only do what they need to from there on out. Could be seeing a little bit of that game playing out.
Yeah, tonight's kind of different on the fuel because I know, it's an 8.8 gallons that you got, so there's a little bit of a trick you can play because we refill the cars with 5-gallon cans. So I don't know. This is going to get interesting as we get through this pit cycle and then head into the next one.
King Matthew the Bear takes the lead. Jimmy Johnson now in, Austin Edwards the second, Octavio into third, Johnny Evans in fourth, Lataro in fifth. Looking to see J-Dog Seams, Cristiano Roca both in as well. And it really is surprising. You mentioned the different, even the team seeing a disparity. Even with your team, we're seeing quite a disparity in when drivers come in versus don't.
Yeah, some of this pit cycle, I'm kind of listening to the drivers talking to each other, and it's going to be, it's going to get exciting as this goes on.
I think so. Looks like Matt Barrett does have a bit of a gap on Austin Edwards at the moment. I'll be interested to see, looking to see, Crapser is back out on track. His pit stop time about on average with everybody else. And it looks like the vast majority of the drivers that have been in hit it right at lap 100, right at the halfway point. Now we're just seeing the guys that can and do stretch further. Expect to see Matt Bear and Austin Edwards probably not into lap 110 or later. So you mentioned that 5-gallon gas can. If they can stretch all three stops, or their first couple of stops, that final stop may only need that 5 gallons of gas to make it to the end.
Oh, no doubt. That saves, you can't even imagine how much time that saves. And you can still take four tires on a 5-gallon stop. So, It's not till you get down to under 3, like 2.7, 2.6 gallons, that you can only really take 2 tires without losing some time other than the fuel. So yeah, it's going to get this strategy's starting to build once again.
It definitely is, and as the longer it stays out green, you see drivers making adjustments throughout the night. Some of the drivers getting faster, some of them go the wrong way with the adjustments and lose a little bit of ground, but it's interesting to see as the track changes, the race goes on, it stays green, everything changes throughout, and the drivers are having to make changes to their driving style, to their setup, to everything as the race progresses, and we'll see some drivers in the second half really start to make their way forward as Joe Campbell, Jared Mogart are in. Looks like most of J&S is headed to pit road now.
Yeah, I think the fuel strategy is starting to play out some here. I think one of the things you run into with these cars is that even though it's an open setup race, that your ability to change anything during pit stops during a race is pretty limited to tire pressure and brake bias. So, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how these lap times hold up, and how this strategy continues to play out towards the end of the race.
It's definitely going to be a lot of fun as Matt Bear is starting to put some cars a lap down. These are drivers that have come off of pit road, but Matt trying to stretch it out as long as he can. He has a 3.2 second lead on Austin Edwards, Octavio, and Lautaro still right there with Austin. Octavio was able to stretch further. Lautaro came in a lap earlier, and Austin and Matt came in at the same time last time, but that 1 to 2 lap difference each pit stop could be huge at the end of the night. Those fresh tires, as we saw at a Crapser after that first stop, made a huge difference as well.
Oh yeah, so we're getting down to really what it's going to take you from the time you decide to pit till you exit the pit is there's some time to be made up there, and like I said, these guys that have these we're looking at maybe up to 110 laps on these 2 tanks of fuel, or 3 or 2, but those are the guys at the end that are going to be able to really cut the time off the end of their stop.
Johnny Evans on his way back out of pit road as pit stop cycled through. Alex Crapser is the highest running driver who has completed a stop. And interesting note, just looking at the pit lane times this time versus pit stop times, Alex Crapser had a 57.3 second stop. But drivers that were at the same speed as him, he was like a second faster again for total pit road time. A lot more variations on this pit stop too as to how long drivers are on pit road, seeing everything from 52 seconds all the way up to 1 minute and 1 on pit road.
Yeah, there may be some fuel games being played a little bit. Like I said, I think there may be some fuel games being played. So it may be interesting to see how this cycle works out.
It definitely is. As King Matthew the Bear is now in, Austin Edwards, Octavio Rondoletto, Lautaro Lamperti, all 3 still out on track. They have not completed their second stop yet, and the other problem that pops up here and the wanting to extend your fuel mileage is as pit stops cycle through, we'll start to see this field kind of spread out in their battles, but they'll be in more lap traffic. You'll be in more cars, just not with the cars that you're battling. And problems can occur with people coming in and out of pit road. Anything could happen. We could get a caution, and if you're able to stretch the extra 2 laps, you might trap half the field a lap down.
Yeah, that's one of the things you look at, especially on these these green flag stops is the possibility that you jump in early to try to pick up a little bit of time on tires and get caught a couple laps or a lap down because somebody misses that or nails that pit road wall, or somebody gets a little too excited coming out of pit lane.
Alex Krapser still the highest running car who has completed his pit stop, currently in fourth. Now is a 7-second gap on Matt Bear, as Matt just came around and unlapped himself from Austin Edwards. Lataro comes in. Austin Edwards, Octavio Rondoletto, the only two drivers still out on track needing to complete their stop. This is a lot further than I expected to see either of them go. Definitely playing out there, trying to make that last stop the quickest stop tonight.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this last pit stop is going to be really exciting if this thing continues to go green, because you're going to see a lot of different strategies popping up.
Well, Octavio is in. Austin still staying out. Austin, we have seen him and Luke Turpin, those two drivers, about the two guys that seem to be able to stretch that fuel mileage further than anybody else. We've ridden along with Austin countless times and seen how he will roll through the center. He's out of the gas early, smooth back on the gas, and at times killing the ignition mid-turn just to save a little bit of fuel. A drop here, a drop there. Throughout the course of the night, he gains quite a bit.
Oh, there's no doubt how, especially if you have that skill of being able to clutch the car and roll the turns and not lose the speed. You can really go out and do a lot of damage with that type of strategy.
Yeah, I think Austin might be about to show us that. While we're waiting on Austin to show us that, we'll take another quick commercial break. Folks, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we will go through the field to see where your favorite drivers are. Stick around. And we are back, folks. Don't forget, next Tuesday night, we are at Bristol Motor Speedway. It is Bristol, baby. Short track, banging, beating. And Gerald, are you back in the car next week?
The thought right now is Bristol owes me something. So I'd say there's probably edging up past a 50-50 chance you'll see me in a car.
Well, it would definitely, it is definitely long overdue. The team has been really fast this year, so hopefully that'll translate to Bristol finally giving you what it owes you, because it has just not been kind to you for about a year now.
Yeah, I had some, during the truck series, the BRR truck series I was in, I had just a heck of a run at Bristol, and I think the track has come back to me a little bit with some of the iRacing updates. So yeah, we'll do some testing this week and we'll see.
All right, well, let's run through the field right quick, see where your favorite drivers are after pit stops. Alex Crapser cycles back to the lead, and a big lead he has over King Matthew the Bear. 5.1 seconds. Matt is closing just a little bit. Matt was feeling confident coming into tonight. Sean Andrews holds on to third. Great run by Sean. He is playing a little short pit strategy. Hopefully he can do this with just one more stop. Currently in third. Hopefully his luck holds. Brent Mekas now up into fourth. Brent playing about a standard strategy, about 51 laps on a tank of fuel. Currently in fourth, has been moving up most of the night. Frank Klein started in 15th, up to 5th, continues trying to march his way forward. He is under attack right now, though. Johnny Evans in 6th. Jimmy Johnson sits right behind in 7th. And the XCAL GOAT currently runs in 8th. Austin Edwards stretched that fuel window further than everybody on that last stop. Octavio Rondoletto, last week's winner, currently running in 9th. Also stretching his fuel window along with his teammate Lataro, the Butcher, currently in 10th. Flying Ryan Seams currently running in 11th. A quiet night, but up close to the top 10, about where you'd expect. Jason Seams currently running in 12th. That team has been improving dramatically. Technical issues appear to be resolved, and they are marching forward. Jared Mogard currently running in 13th. Jared had a great race here last night in the Dash Series. Has been tearing it up on Monday nights and has been making a name on Tuesdays. Stephen Rex sitting back in 14th. Another quiet, consistent run for Stephen Rex, but like we saw last week, don't count him out till the end of the night. Jeff Edgar currently running in 15th. Another one that we'll be watching later in the night. He has also been stretching fuel mileage. Joe Campbell currently in 16th, right where he started. Big surprise to not see Joe marching forward more. His team has been doing really good here tonight, but Joe just about average here tonight. Ken Zeems currently in 17th, was on the attack earlier until coming to pit road when he had problems, went around and has not been able to recover very much. Jose Godino currently in 18th, up 2 spots, and keep an eye on Jose as this race goes on. Sean Patrick currently in 19th. Sean just having a quiet, consistent night inside the top 20. J.R. Tanksley currently in 20th, started at the tail end, up 6 spots, continuing to get some laps and improving week after week. Albie Hewins currently in 21st, up 4 spots. That team's starting to come together, and with Albie leading, I suspect we'll see him battling for wins before the end of the season. Clayton Wise back in 22nd. Clayton, very new to XCAL, but you definitely know he's here, and we've known week in and week out he is fast. Michael DiCarlo, sitting in 23rd, has been getting faster and faster each week as well. Got his first top 10 just a couple weeks ago. Many more to come, and I keep telling him to put some of that Navy Joe JP5 coffee in that car. He'd be up here winning. Jared Heasley sits back at 24th. Heasley had some problems early on in the race, got sideways, has been trying to fight his way back. Steven Seams currently in 25th, just continuing to turn laps, has been improving week in and week out. Brandon Yates currently sitting in 26th, and Cristiano Roca appears to be out of the race early. I did not
Cristiano, another tough night.
What happened with Cristiano? I did not see what occurred.
We had a little bump up earlier with Joe. Got a little bumper deal going on and spun, dropped a few spots, but yeah, ultimately I think he had some packet loss and dropped out.
Ouch. Well, the connection from here to where he's at is a bit of a long one, so...
Yeah, Portugal, across that pond, I hear you run into if you go east.
Yeah, I've heard that. I have to say, we've seen Octavio in seasons past. Octavio be out there dominating a race. I'm specifically thinking of South Boston, when he had almost a lap on the entire field, and with 5 to go, completely lost connection. That is definitely a heartbreaking situation for a car you know is fast.
Yeah, we had one a little earlier this season. I believe it was the Auto Club, and another great performance. And yeah, I mean, it is a worldwide sport, and we do attract drivers from across the world to come out here and run with us on Tuesdays. So it's something you just run into.
Yeah, it definitely is a thing. I will tell you, the most fun times to run on iRacing is morning times US, when you get to run with the Australian folks. Those guys are a blast. Even if you have a bad race, you're at least laughing the entire race. So you get on iRacing, go check it out in the morning on a weekday. You will have all the fun. I can promise you that. Let's take a quick look through some of the point standings coming into tonight. The most valuable driver, King Matthew the Bear, still leading, but Octavio Rondoletto just $6 back and closing. A big season so far for Octavio. The rookie right now leading is Lautaro over Jared Mogard and Kyle Martin. A big lead by Lautaro. He is putting on quite a show this season.
Oh yeah, he is. He definitely brings something here that you don't see very often in a lot of drivers. And it just amazes me that he and Octavio, Goyo, helps them an awful lot during the races. But I mean, they just have some skills you just do not see very often.
That is definitely true. And looking at the 2024 Web Shop Series owners points, currently that Gerald Pool guy has 2 drivers in the top 5. Jason Seams has the lead driver with the 81 of Matt Bear. Steven Rex up there in 3rd, and J&S currently 5th, 6th, and 8th. So quite a spread actually throughout the field in those team points. Things are really starting to heat up. We'll look quickly at that team championship right now. Fastlane Motorsports has a 10-point lead over J&S and a 50-point lead over Flaming Karma. But busting at the seams, they have been crawling their way up all season long.
Oh yeah, I mean, as they continue to gel, as they continue to get better, they definitely bring something to the team championship that it should be interesting as the season goes on.
And just had one on Twitch, Onion 391, saying they are dating Alex Crapser. So, well, Alex is leading, Onion. That name seems familiar. It seems like it's one of the drivers, but I don't remember for sure. You know, that has happened in the past where we've had drivers under fake names talking a little smack in the races they're not in.
Yeah, well, that's the deal with the multiple identities.
It definitely is. I need a few more identities of my own, come to think of it.
I may have one floating out there, but I've probably forgot the password.
Yeah, that's about the way it usually goes. Alex Crapser still out front. His lead has started to shrink, now down to 4.4 seconds as King Matthew the Bear closes in. Brent Mekas now in third as Sean Andrews, Jimmy Johnson, Austin Edwards, Octavio Rondoletto, Johnny Evans, Frank Klein, Lataro over the top 10. But it's interesting that top three spread out pretty decently. Then Brent Mekas in third as Sean Andrews closing in. Jimmy Johnson another 4 seconds back, but then you've got fifth place Jimmy Johnson back to Lataro in 10th, all about just over a second apart. And the cars, these groups behind, because they are staying single file and drafting, they are actually closing some ground on the cars ahead. For instance, Sean Andrews in fourth, now just 4 seconds ahead and stuck in lap traffic.
Yeah, they're starting to get a little racy farther back in that group you were talking about with Lataro. Yeah, I think, although I still think that there's some fuel strategy to play out here.
Whoa! I am not sure what's going on here with Lataro and Frank Klein. That got, we were starting to see, it looked like Lataro was going to look low. Klein moved down low, and they are, they're playing a little rough here. Klein is definitely doing everything he can to keep Lataro behind him, but Lataro sends it deep into 1 and 2, slips by Frank, looking back underneath.
Yeah, I think Lataro is a little bit quicker in certain spots, and Frank's a little bit quicker in certain spots, and yeah, they're just kind of battling it out to see who can eventually. Ryan's also in this deal, so yeah, it's going to get a little bit tight and interesting here as this one goes.
Yeah, with Flying Ryan right behind those two, anything can happen. Those two are going to go at it battling, and we've seen Ryan do this for as young as he is. He's extremely patient, and Flying Ryan will sneak by when they are least expecting it. Does look like both of those two may have a little front end damage. I think they might have been swapping bumper sheet metal just a little bit.
Yeah, I think everybody's starting to get a little impatient as we get down inside this 50 laps to go, and yeah, there may be some, and I think it just happened.
Frank Klein is on pit road. That car looks banged up. Let's see if we can see what just happened. There they come out of turn 4. They are kind of within that window. Oh, Klein just comes across the nose, spins it, ouch, spins it to the inside wall on pit road, gets it lined up. He might actually be able to utilize this as his pit stop, get 4 tires, fuel, some repairs, and fight his way back. But, man, that is going to have a bit of a setback.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing from the drivers, from the driver chat, I think he got a speeding penalty in that spin.
Yeah, either a speeding or an unsafe pit entry. He definitely crossed the line backwards. So that is an unfortunate fact when that happens. And Frank was having a great run tonight, so a bit of a heartbreak to see him having problems here early.
Yeah, I mean, we're at a point in the race now. That's kind of a race killer. And, yeah, I mean, you get trying too hard to block. And, I see Sean out on the outside wall. What happened to him?
Let's see. Oh, Sean Andrews in trouble. He is towed to pit road. Let's see what happened to Sean. There's Sean headed off into 1 and 2, and it looked like his right front. See if we can get something further back. It just looks like the right front is completely down as he goes off. Let's back up a little bit further.
Yeah, something gave up.
Watching the previous lap to see if we could see what exactly, did he get the outside wall or had he pushed that tire so far? He has a bobble out of turn 2. You can have a tire failure in iRacing. It does happen, but man, it has been a while since I have seen one in these street stocks. These tires usually hold up pretty darn well. But he was sliding the previous laps. He was sliding it through the turns, and yeah, that car just was losing grip really, really quickly. Sean had been on the attack. Oh, he had some contact, hits the outside wall out of turn 4, and that may have ended his shot tonight.
Yeah, I think he got a little tight there on the 25 as he was coming through, and I think he just lost it. Looks like he just, I don't know if it was the air or what, but he just lost the front end.
Yeah, and once he clipped that car, it just sent him hard to the right, hits right front onto the outside wall, and that ends it. As we're starting to see drivers back in for final stops, everybody will be within the window in the next couple of laps. Man, another heartbreaking night for Sean. Winnie's on fire. Winnie's super fast. He had been running in the top 5, top 3 most of the night.
Yeah, I think maybe we just need to quit talking about it. You know, I've been there before. You get talked about a lot, and everything they talk about just somehow happens.
I think I need to send him a Lucky Rabbit. I may just have to buy a Lucky Rabbit's feet in bulk and start sending them out. Maybe we'll look into seeing if we can get some How to Suck at iRacing Lucky Rabbit feet. I'll make a note of that. That would be a fun thing to have to give away.
Yeah, Sean Andrews. Yeah, I mean, because he needs it. If there's anybody that really needs the luck, I mean, it's him. And you hate to say luck in racing because he definitely has the skill. He runs up front. He's fast. He's got everything going on, and just just these little things that never really hurt everybody else just seems to bite him in the rear end
every single time. As Brent Mekas gives up second, Flying Ryan, Jimmy Johnson, Sean Patrick all in for their final stop. Starting to see final stops underway. These front few guys, though, they'll be stretching it to the point where they only need to get a 5-gallon single can of fuel. Once they reach that point, they'll be in for 4 tires, 5 gallons of fuel, and a dash to the end.
Yeah, I think there's maybe a couple other 3 or 4 guys, maybe even a little bit lower or down, that may have some advantage as far as that fuel goes. So we may see a pretty big jostle going here. I'm seeing Lataro and Octavio going in. So You know this will be a short stop.
Yeah, Octavio and Lataro both in. That is surprising. They have not pitted together tonight. This is actually, we normally see these two pit together. They work together very, very closely every single race. This is the first time we've seen them pit together tonight. A bit of a shock, but you know their strategies came down to being together at the end.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And like I said, I think this is part of a strategy deal. You know, they definitely have the fuel to go another 10, maybe 12 laps. So, yeah, it's short fuel, and I'm seeing 2 tires so far. So, you know, hey, boy, I'll tell you what, this is going to get crazy. Jared
Mogard in on pit road now. Joe Campbell staying out, now moving him up into the top 5. Could he have been playing? He hasn't been stretching the fuel tremendously tonight, but he may have been stretching it just enough that Joe's going to sneak up and pull off a top 10 here tonight. That would be an awesome one. He started the season with the win and has had a pretty good season so far. I have to say, though, when he started the season with the win 2 years ago, he had an amazing season. As Joe is in, King Matthew the Bear is in.
Yeah, I think the fuel wars have begun.
Fuel wars. There's something we ain't heard in a lot of years. Austin Edwards stays out. Johnny Evans. And
I'm telling you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
seeing some stuff. I know. I'm just seeing some stuff here that's kind of. I mean, it's really crazy. It's going to be something when we get down those last 10 laps.
It definitely is. We've seen a couple of instances here lately where drivers are just barely getting enough fuel, and if a caution were to come out, then they're going to be in trouble with the fuel mileage because they don't have enough laps left for pace laps. So things could get interesting here. We're going to take our final commercial break real quick, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll go side by side. When we come back, we'll take you to the finish. Stick around, everybody. We are back as final stops complete. Austin Edwards, Jeff Edgar have not been in yet. Those are the only two. Alex Krapser is currently in fourth. King Matthew the Bear has gotten past him with the pit stop, putting himself in third, about 3 seconds ahead. That comes as a bit of a surprise until you look at pit stop times when Matt was 9 seconds faster. So you really got to wonder, Austin Edwards, Jeff Edgar, when they hit pit road, Gerald, they're not going to need much.
No, they're not. But how much time have they lost with the guys with the faster tires staying out that long? So that's going to be the real thing we see coming to the end. But it's Austin.
Yeah.
So, you know, he probably has, we talked about this before, he's got an ace up his sleeve, and he pulls it when he knows he needs to.
Yep. Austin now on pit road for his final stop. And it looks like Jeff Edgar may be staying out here. See if he can. Did not score. He has gone to the lead. if he can get back by the start-finish line, pick up some bonus points for leading a lap here tonight. Surprisingly, very few leaders here tonight. The lead changes have been pretty low here. Bit of a surprise considering, you know, midway through that first run, we saw a lot of side-by-side action as tires started to wear.
Yeah, I think the way the field has strung out has had a big effect on the guys that could stay out and try to lead a lap. So, but I mean, you know, if I think it's probably been more of an opportunity thing. So, you know, you can get those bonus points when you can.
Well, Jeff Egger has the lead. Austin Edwards is back out in second place. The fastest pit stop we have seen so far, 27.3 seconds. There's that ace in the hole. He did not need much. We'll see what his lap times look like, but he has got a 5.4 second lead on Matt Bear. Octavio back in fourth and Crapser in fifth. Crapser is right there behind Octavio at the moment.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if it's strung out a little bit too much yet, but yeah, this thing could tighten up quite a bit here before we get to the end if we've seen, if we're looking at what we've seen before.
It is good to see Alex doing so well tonight, seeing him back in the car with that busting at the seams team, and it's great to see a new team coming in and being this successful. I know how much you struggled last year with that first year deal. It was really a challenge, so it's great to see all the teams kind of elevating this season.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, and yeah, 10-4 on that. You know, I struggled to fill seats last season, but you know, fortunate to, you know, finish P2 in the team championship last season. You know, got a little bit of experience under our belt, got a really good library of things going on with the team, and but yeah, I mean, some of these, you know, seeing busting at the seams come out the way they have, Frank and his team doing really well, you know, relative to being a first season team. Albert, you know, like I said, I think by the time we get past the All-Star race, we're going to see this thing's really going to tighten up.
It definitely is, and just had this genius thought. We'll continue teaching Angie how to broadcast, and before the end of the season, I'll have her do a broadcast, and I'll drive one of these races for you. If nothing else, I'll cost you a ton of money in incident points.
Well, then we might as well put you into Charlotte Legends.
That's one race I don't know that I would even want to attempt. When we get down to the end of the season, down to that Charlotte Legends Oval, man, sitting up here in the booth watching those races has been, it is nonstop excitement, but there is so much going on, and you're spending most of the race just reacting rather than driving. It feels like it's stressful, and I don't have enough hair left to lose.
That's why they make razors, man.
This is definitely true.
But yeah, that race is just sitting in a seat. It is just absolute chaos. I mean, you can go from being on the lead lap to 8 laps down, and then all of a sudden you're 3 laps down. And it is such a crazy place to run these cars.
It definitely is. Austin Edwards lead now almost 6 seconds over Matt Bear. Octavio still sits in third. Cramps are right behind him in fourth. Lataro in fifth. Johnny Evans currently in sixth. Brent Meckes in seventh. Great to see Jimmy Johnson out here tonight, quietly running in eighth. He has been pretty consistent, not running a full season this year, but when he hops in the car, man, he has been doing better and better and better. Hope we see him. He was great at Bristol last year. Hope to see him next week. Stephen Rex, Jared Mogard rounding out that top 10. So a good mix of all the teams here in this top 10, and it's definitely showing just how close the competition is getting.
Oh yeah, I mean, the thing about it is every team has just these awesome set of drivers. I mean, you know, Jimmy, you know, obviously a guy I've run with for years. product here on iRacing in a bunch of different leagues. So, yeah, he's always been strong. He's always been fast. He really seems to have picked up over the last year or so. And yeah, seeing him come out and run is a great thing.
It definitely is. And just to remind everybody, at 10 laps to go, the drivers will hear green, green, green. There will be no more cautions. We may get another green to checker race here this season. I believe it'll be like the second or third. That just started happening last year where we were getting caution-free races. So it's awesome to see them getting repeated. Only had a couple of issues here tonight that took drivers out. Obviously, Frank Klein had an issue. Jared Heasley and Ken Zeems all having issues. But other than that, man, we have seen some drivers starting to make their way forward and everybody keeping it clean out here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there are just enough cars on the field, in the field, to make it really exciting. And it kind of strings out, but I mean, the strategy in these races is the key to being good in these races. And, you have to have 2 or 3 plans going into a race. And, you have to start leaning into the one that works out for you.
That is definitely the case. And as we get 25 laps to go and Austin Edwards out front, some of the drivers toward the back we haven't talked about. Joe Campbell currently up to 14th. Jose Godino up 5 spots into 15th. Sean Patrick has made his way up into 16th. J.R. Tanksley up 9 spots now into 17th. Albie up 7 spots now into 18th. Clayton Wise up 4 spots into 20th. Frank Klein lost all that ground when he got turned around onto pit road. He is back in 19th. And Michael DiCarlo starting to make some moves forward. He is up to 21st. He is a bit behind Clayton, but he is gaining ground at the moment. I have a sneaking suspicion before this season is out, we see DiCarlo with a podium, maybe a win.
He definitely has the potential to be able to get that done, and he absolutely has the determination to do it. He's got a great sponsor with Navy Joe on board, and I know how big of a supporter they are of him, and I mean, it'll be great to see him continue to get the experience and learn what it takes to be able to run one of these races and finish it out. Not, unlike he did here a week or two ago.
Yeah, and definitely have to give a shout out, folks. Make sure you're checking us. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. And don't forget to help support all the sponsors like Navy Joe Coffee, who is now giving the How to Suck at iRacing community 10% off their order with code Navy Joe. Make sure you tell them you saw it here during the XCAL race. My brain stopped for a minute.
Yeah, I'm kind of, as I'm watching, flipping back and forth through the field, boy, there's some tough stuff coming down here these last 10 laps.
I think we're going to see Austin Edwards, now that his lead is about 5.7. Matt is really pushing it. Austin is not having to push it as much. Octavio back in third is starting to close in, and he's bringing Crapser with him. Lataro has got himself some breathing room in fifth, but Brent Meckes in sixth has Johnny Evans there. Jared Mogard has Jimmy Johnson and Steven Rex. Flying Ryan is closing in on them in 11th. Jeff Edgar gaining a little ground in 12th. Jason seems currently in 13th.
Oh wow, Jeff and Jason, who gets the logo of shame next to him?
That could be the biggest thing. They are about 8.7 seconds apart, and right now Jeff Edgar is ahead. Hey, good evening, Richie West. Jeff Edgar is currently ahead of J-Dog, so as of right now, Jason is getting the logo of shame next, and I guess that's what we're going to call it from now on, is the logo of shame.
That sounds as good as anything I've heard.
Well, it's definitely going to be awesome to see that battle continue all season long and see that going back and forth, I think they ought to add an addition to that. Whoever finishes better in the overall points at the end of the season, the loser has to carry that logo all next season. That would be a real step up.
Yeah, anybody watching this thing is going to be dying with that.
Well, Austin now 18 laps to go. Matt 5.5 seconds back. Octavio still closing, still has Crapser. I do think we're going to see some of these guys catch up in a little bit of battling here late in the race. Joe Campbell also closing in on Jason Seams, now just 1.8 seconds back. And Joe is closing rapidly on Jason.
Yeah, I think he saved a little bit. He's looking really sporty out there.
Looks like Ken Seams is officially out of the race now. Steven Seams, who had problems earlier, now up into 24th. Brandon Yates in 23rd. Jared Heasley had that problem earlier on in 22nd. Trying to run down Michael DiCarlo in 21st. DiCarlo still gaining ground on Clayton, but may not have enough time left here.
Yeah, we're getting down to the, what they call that, the golden hour. It's, yeah. Boy, you don't want to be in the wrong spot for that.
No, you definitely don't. And here in about 5.5 laps, when they get green, there will be no more cautions at 10 to go. They will not pack back up, and I guarantee you there's a few drivers out there wishing they would catch that caution, especially Flying Ryan, Jeff Edgar, and J-Dog Seams right now. Those would be the 3 wave-around cars at the moment. But I just do not think we're going to see a caution here tonight.
No, I mean, everybody seems to be working together with each other and, not having, I mean, I thought this race would kind of maybe finish out like Phoenix did. But, no, I mean, man, we're going, green from end to end. And it's, now we're seeing where all that early strategy is playing out.
It's definitely going to be... let's see. Mitch, last time by, Austin Edwards did a 33.41 and Matt Bear a 33.34. So right in that range. The fastest laps of the night, 32.89. Both by Matt Bear and Octavio Rondoletto. Actually, Alex Crapser had the fastest lap of the night. So far, a 32.87.
Wow, those times are tight.
Yeah, they are. Man, the lap times all night have been tight, and just a ton of consistency. Even as tire fall off has only been about a half second a lap, which is really, really good for a flat track race, because usually you're just tearing up that those right tires. But the guys have them seem to have their cars front to back balanced just about perfect, so the wear's even and it wears slower.
Yeah, I think that's something a little bit different than we had last season, which I believe was the first time we ran this place. And but yeah, I mean, I think each team just spends so much time working on setups during the week, and that's just it really just says a lot for the level of competition and what all the teams feel about each other. I mean, just go out and race hard and put the time in and get the job done.
Well, and it definitely shows, seeing a lot of clean passes tonight. We have seen a little bit of bumping out there. No surprise, though, to see a little bit of contact out there. But, hey, everybody has kept it clean. Only a few cars out of the race here and no cautions. And in another lap, we will not see a caution. So, yeah, it's definitely been an interesting night. And flat tracks, when we're at places like New Hampshire, you see guys sliding all over the place out of the turns, and that brings out problems as well. But even 2 and 3 wide earlier in the race, no big issues.
Yeah, that's the big difference between here and Martinsville. This track's a lot wider. There's a few more lines, especially early when the trash hasn't built up on the outside of the track. You know, and yeah, I mean, looking at it right now, we were talking about busting at the seams. It looks like tonight that you know, they got a pretty good shot at taking the team points for the night.
They definitely could. Very easily. As Austin Edwards last time by heard green, green, green. We will have green to checkers. There will not be a caution here tonight. Now Austin does have lap traffic ahead, and Matt Bear 4.5 seconds back with 9 laps to go. Matt might be in trouble though. Octavio and Craps are still coming, but they are about 1.8 seconds back. So it's been close, but I don't know that they're going to get there.
Neither one of them guys has any give up in them, so I expect them to, yeah, just do whatever they can to get up there by the end.
Well, I have a feeling we're going to see quite a battle happen for third here in the last few laps, as Craps are already starting even a little bobble out of Octavio out of turn 4. Craps are looking for a podium here tonight. Man, it would be a great finish for him.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he's kind of had a little bit of tough luck as he's gotten back in the car, and but no, he always runs strong, and you know, sans any problems that are generally not his. Yeah, you're going to see him do everything he can to get as far up as he can before the end.
Oh, definitely. Austin Edwards still out front, 7 laps to go. Flying Ryan, the first car 1 lap down in 11th. 10 cars still on the lead lap as we come to the end of this one. And it has been a very, very quiet night, surprisingly, here at Milwaukee.
Yeah, like I said, I think like we talked about earlier, I think everybody works so hard during the week to come out and, you know, have a good, fast, stable setup, and, you know, everybody gets out and takes care of their cars. I mean, you know, you get these kind of races, man, and, you know, to me, they're the best kind of races. I mean, everybody likes the cautions and the wrecks and all that, but, you know, I mean, you got to give it to all these drivers, man, come out and put all that work in and come out and give everything they can, not get in trouble, and, you know, let it fall where it falls.
Well, Matt continuing to reel in the leader, but now less than 4 seconds behind. He is going to have to gain basically a second a lap to catch up to Austin at this point, as Austin Edwards gets 5 to go at the line. And Austin, we saw how short his pit stop was. It was the shortest pit stop of the night, 27.3. See if we can dial up his in-car here and see just if he is conserving anything. A little bit on entry, but not a whole heck of a lot being conserved here.
Yeah, I mean, when Austin comes out, you know, I mean, sometimes you run into some guys are playing checkers, some guys are playing chess, and some guys are playing 3D chess.
Well, he was going for his 30th career win here tonight, and in about 3.5 more laps, it looks like he is going to get it done. Austin not running a full schedule this season, but, man, when he's here, he is on fire.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, yeah. He's we talked about Lautaro and Octavio earlier. Yeah, he's another one of those guys.
Well, the entire field out here tonight has done a great job, kept it clean, and Clayton Wise has gone to pit road in 21st. We may be seeing some guys come up short on fuel.
Yeah, I mean, there were some guys that had some curious pit stops along the way, so, you know, you never know.
Well, that moves Michael DiCarlo up to 20th as Clayton comes back out. Jared Heasley might pick up 21st. We'll see here in a moment. And we'll see if anybody else heads in. Clayton Wise, just a 10-second stop for fuel, but a costly stop.
Yeah, this is a really long pit road. I mean, it's not like some of these shorter tracks where you can get in and out real quick. But yeah, that's a tough one.
White flag is in the air one more time around for the XCAL GOAT. Austin Edwards through 1 and 2 has been on it all night long. He's practically been unstoppable, has had the longest fuel runs, made it to lap 164, a 27-second pit stop, gets it down. Whoa, almost had a problem on the final lap. Goes wide out of turn 4. Austin Edwards, career win number 30 at the Milwaukee Mile.
Wow, what a race.
Matt Bear coming home in second. Octavio third. Crapser in fourth. Lataro comes home in fifth. Looking through to see Joe Campbell came up to 13th. Jose Godino pulled off 15th. JR came up 9 spots into 17th. Albie Hewins up 7 spots into 18th. Frank Klein, a heartbreaker, coming home in 19th, and Michael DiCarlo in 20th.
Yeah, we get back to that decal of shame there. The hood of shame. It looks like Jason's going to be back to the bad one.
It does appear so, as Jeff Egger finishes 12th and Jason finishes 14th, stops on the back straightaway. He just doesn't even want to think about it.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Thank you, Doug, for having me in the booth tonight, and thank all the fans for coming out, and I'm going to go check up with my team.
All right, man. Great job tonight. And we'll wait for the drivers to hop in. Talk to our top 3. Octavio Rondoletto is already here. Let's see if we can get a word with Octavio. Octavio, a win last week, a podium this week. Man, you are on fire.
Oh yeah, Doug. The race was extremely hard for me because I'm not feeling really well today. I'm literally destroyed, to be honest.
Well, flat track racing takes a lot out of you anyway. You're on the throttle, off the throttle. You're constantly adjusting the car. It's definitely a workout here.
Yeah, I prefer races with a lot of more fight in the track, not just fuel strategy, but it's okay. Austin did the best job today. We almost had the second place. I think I lost a lot of time behind some cars before my pit stop, and that was the problem. But yeah, it's a good result anyways. Good money, good points. We had a third place and fifth place for Roar Esport and Flaming Karma, and that's great.
Well, man, a great job tonight. Congratulations. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Yes, everybody. At first, my team, Roar Sports, Flaming Karma, as well. You, XCAL, all the XCAL sponsors, because they are making it possible. The other drivers, because we had clean battle, at least with me. I had to see some things behind me. And yeah. And yes, my family.
Well, man, great job. Go get some rest. It sounds like you need it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, and see you next week in Nashville.
See you next week. King Matthew the Bear coming home in second. And King Bear, man, you had that podium finish, buddy, but just didn't have enough left there at the end.
Yeah, man, I feel like it's a recurring theme here, Doug. I don't know, man. I felt like I drove my ass off there right that second half of the race. Austin just had me beat on fuel strategy-wise. I knew whenever I got in front of him and I started to pull away right there about lap 100, I knew I had to attack and just go for it at that point, because I was just not going to sit there and play their cycle game, especially where I was sitting at fuel-wise, knowing what I could do. But, I mean, I don't know, Doug. I mean, I felt like I ran a good race. I just wasn't able to get that job done. And I mean, I was maybe a tenth or two of gallons short on fuel right there, and I had to save a little bit, but I ain't making 3.3 seconds up right there to get to Austin. So you got to give a big credit to him for getting it done right there. I mean, what a surprise, but I mean, what can you do, Doug? I mean, I don't want to sound defeated, but I kind of feel a little defeated, man. I felt like I ran a great strategy right there, and I just could not get it done.
Well, man, you definitely had a great strategy and a fast car. Another great podium finish, buddy. Great job for the team. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, man. Gotta give a shout out to Simcoin Racer, Butt Kicker, Admin Box, How to Suck at iRacing, JT's Mobile Pressure Washing Service, Gerald, Flamin' Karma Paint Job, and XCAL Web Shop for putting this on every week. I'm sorry I couldn't get it done this week, but what can you do? We're still sitting at the top of the point standings. Another top 5 right there. That's 9 for 9 on the season. I don't know if that's been done. Oh well. But I mean, we're here to go get the title, and we're keeping that trend going by finishing up in the spots that we need to finish to week in and week out.
Well, you definitely getting it done. Congratulations, buddy. Great job tonight.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
King Matthew the Bear coming home in second place, but the XCAL GOAT back in victory lane tonight. Well, the GOAT gets his 30th career win tonight. Austin, great job.
Thank you, Doug.
I think you had them all pretty well licked on fuel, and you weren't exactly slow either.
Yeah, no, Milwaukee's an interesting track, Doug. Being a mile long and being as flat as it is, it's very hard to get the cars to stick to the ground. So, this week I decided to focus on getting the roll center more so than anything else. So, didn't have really any hot lap speed per se, but of course, without any cautions, that wasn't the name of the game. So, just kind of filed in there, led a few laps, and unfortunately didn't have a draft there. So, got a little bit short on the fuel mileage compared to what I wanted it to be, but then there in the middle of the race towards lap 100, me and Octavia tried playing out a good old fuel battle, seeing who could save more, and then Matt drove away, so I wasn't sure how it would all file out there at the end, but I guess I ran the perfect line, and it worked out for me again. So 30 wins in this league is something I never thought that I would get up to.
I have to say, we were watching pit stops. On that final stop, you had the fastest stop by over 10 seconds, a 27.3 second stop. Your pit lane time was insane, and that made a huge difference. You coming back off pit road with about a 6-second lead, and then you could just kind of keep it where you needed it.
Yeah, that's all it takes sometimes, Doug. I mean, racing an XCAL is one thing. You got to have good speed and a good pace when you need it. But at the same time, when you get long green flag runs like that, especially at a big track, I'll be looking more at my black box than I will be really driving, because I'm watching all my fuel numbers, trying to figure out what I can do with tires, and it all just, there's a lot of you got to do in XCAL compared to other leagues, and that's something that luckily I've got some good experience in, and I think I've got down pretty well. So it worked in my favor again, and we'll have to see if we can get a few more this year.
Well, definitely will, I'm sure. Congratulations, win number 30. Anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Well, as always, I got to say thank you to my teammates and stuff. My guys aren't racing as much, but, Chris Johnson, Kyle Martin, they still work on setups with me here and there. So, big thank you to those guys keeping me going. Big thanks to the XCAL admins and you guys putting on this broadcast. And I hope we get a more exciting race next week when we head to the world's fastest half mile.
We definitely will, man. Good luck. Congratulations, and looking forward to seeing you at Bristol, buddy.
Thank you, Doug.
Well, that race was definitely unexpected, but man, it came down to it. Austin Edwards definitely had the car to beat all night. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to come back at 9 Eastern tomorrow night. Nowski is back on track at New Atlanta. The regular season comes to a close with a unicorn in the car. Folks, hope you guys had as much fun as we did. Have a great night, everybody.